I'm calling the legislative session of Wednesday, September 12th, 2018, the Swarthmore Borough Council to order. I believe we have a number of special visitors and guests this evening, and I'm going to turn it over to our Mayor, Tim Carney, MC Extraordinaire.
Thank you, Dave. This is amazing. We now have like portable mics that we can actually walk around with, which is great because the people, you know, at home in TV land they can hear what we're saying and everything else. We do. This is one of the great things about being mayor is that I get to do things like this. I'd like Elizabeth to come forward. Hi. How are you? Good to see you. You gonna put them on? Okay. Wow. Doesn't get old, does it? Okay. So, this is a mayoral proclamation from the Borough of Swarthmore. Whereas Elizabeth Ann Smith has been an active member of the Swarthmore community, including varsity letter and cross country and 4 years in the band color guard at Strathaven High School, class of 95. And whereas she has participated in Special Olympics in 7 sports over the past 30 years, and has trained as a Special Olympics global messenger, speaking to thousands of people to spread the word about the mission of Special Olympics. And whereas Liz competed in this summer's Special Olympics in Seattle, placing in 4 events and winning bronze medal in the 50-meter butterfly and a silver medal in the freestyle relay. And whereas the Borough of Swarthmore is just as proud of her as could be, and so pleased that she's part of our community. And whereas my position as mayor, as her father knows well, allows me to do these kinds of things. I hereby proclaim that September 12th to be recognized as Liz Smith Day in the Borough of Swarthmore.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. No. And we are. We're pleased it's public. Wonderful. That's good. You guys want to come up for a picture? Yeah. Come on, guys. It's a great way to start a meeting. How's the truck, Chief?
Everybody look this way. Everybody look this way.
All right, I notice all are present and accounted for except for Sarah Green, and she is excused. At this point in the legislative session, we allow for public comment. As any members of the public that would care to address council. Hearing none, I call the public comment period to a close. First order of business is consideration of council meeting minutes of August 20th and September 4th. Has everyone received a copy of those minutes?
Yes.
And I have a motion to approve the minutes of August 30th, 2018 and September 4th, 2018.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion, amendments, or changes to either of those minutes?
No.
If not, let's have a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The minutes are approved. Thank you. Lauren?
No report today.
Thank you. And are you, I forget, are you meeting this?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And what's the date of that again?
We're meeting on Wednesday, September 26th at 7:30.
In the evening?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Michael, Finance.
Yes, we are also meeting this month. It'll be Monday, September 24th at 7:30 p.m. in this room.
Great.
To talk about budgetary items. So I'll start off with the financial report through the month of August. As I've mentioned, like a broken record, particularly as it relates to expenditures, we've had a couple that we paid ahead of time, including our minimum municipal obligation. We paid half of it ahead of time, and also we've had two police officers go into retirement. So when you factor in those two amounts, essentially, as it relates to expenditures, they're very slightly behind what they were last year, but last year they were ahead of schedule. So even though it looks like 70.5% versus 62.3, it's much more like 64.5. And then when you factor in slightly higher revenues, it's basically on track. So things are going as expected, except for obviously the police officer's retirement, which we can't forecast, but we think we can make it up otherwise. So. Anyway, at the end of August, the cash balance was $1,468,191. Are there any questions as it relates to the revenues and expenditures through the month of August? Any other fund balance? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on to wire transfers and bills to pay. I'm going to make a motion to approve wire transfers for loan payments totaling $2,267.87 for the month of August.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Okay, moving on to open invoices. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to take a look at those. I'm going to make a motion to approve open invoices for the month through September 6th, totaling $107,109.50.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Okay, and I believe I make a motion for the municipal obligations. Is that they
Yeah, I
say?
mean, the numbers for the two pension plans need to be in the minutes.
Okay.
So why don't you
Make a motion
to recognize the following,
Yep.
numbers.
Okay. As we discussed last week, as it relates to the minimum municipal obligations, these are calculated by our actuary. Certainly we can debate the numbers if need be, or if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them. But if not, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Swarthmore's minimum municipal obligation before state aid for the non-uniformed employees totaling $46,217, and for the uniformed pension plan, $295,158.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I didn't remember this from last week, but in the minutes, it said that both of those had decreased by $15,000.
In combination, it's about $15,000 less after we factor in state aid, which is not what we're approving now.
Okay.
But after state aid, it's about $15,000 less, and that's related also to just as we had to recognize some expenses for people going into the drop program, as it relates to this calculation, it's beneficial in that sense because they're not included. They're not included in the state aid portion too. So I think it's like $22,000 before state aid, but once you factor in state aid, it's $15,000 less
Great, I just don't believe it when I read it.
from last year. Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, let's have a vote then to approve the Swarthmore Borough's minimum municipal obligations for 2019 for the employees' pension plan. These are non-uniformed employees, and the amount of $46,217. And for the police pension plan, $295,158. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Thank you, Michael.
That's all I have.
Let's see, general government. Sarah's not here this evening. Is there anyone else from the general government committee that would like to make a report? Hearing none, we will move on to planning and zoning. Betsy.
I don't have anything to report. We will be meeting Thursday the 27th at 7:30. And the Planning Commission is not meeting this month. although the zoning board will be meeting on the 24th, I believe, here in this room.
All right, thank you. Public safety, Mary?
We will be meeting next Thursday, August 20th at 5 PM.
September 20th.
I'm still in August, thank you. September 20th at 5 PM in the community room upstairs, and that is different from when we usually meet. And that night, if anybody else is interested in attending, we will be seeing the budget request from the police department and the fire department that night. That's it.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Ross.
Okay, we will be meeting this month at our regular date, which would be this coming Thursday, September 27th at 8:30 in the morning. I believe the annual street paving program is supposed to start September 17. And I think that the manager sent out a note to let people know there's something going on Swarthmore Ave now, and that's not part of the street paving. I think that's an ongoing project. But I think the street paving starts September 17, and I believe that is the project that will result in the speed tables on Yale. And so one of the main things tonight is we have before us a resolution under Act 537. This was discussed at our last meeting. And just to quickly say, the Sewer Authority is requesting this resolution from the 8 municipalities that are affected by this. They've proposed a plan to divert some of the sewage, instead of going to the Philadelphia plant, to go to the Chester plant, which should be beneficial to all 8 in it, and all 8 municipalities in that. So some questions were asked last Wednesday. I want to just address some of those, a couple of those more specifically. So the 8 towns are Edgemont Township, Marple Township, Nether Providence, Newtown, Ridley, Springfield, Swarthmore, and Upper Providence. Although there are others that will be affected, these are the 8 that are given the opportunity to pass a resolution on this. And we're required by state law to have an adequate sewage plan. Delcora accomplishes that for us. There's a sewer authority. We have a representative, Susan Smythe, who participates in that, and Susan attended the meetings and completely supports this resolution. So they submitted to us that the basic problem is that the central pump station, which is kind of over by the Boeing plant, kind of, is rated for 40 million gallons a day. And that's okay on a regular day, but they said that when there's wet weather, peak flows have caused multiple sanitary sewer overflows. So that's the basic problem, to avoid that. And so the plan is to build a more robust pump at Little Crown Creek, which is further west, and then attach that with a force main to go south down to Chester and divert some of it. So that's the purpose of this. The total cost of the project is estimated at $8,619,000, and there are different parts of that. $1,294,000 is for the Crum Creek pump station. $6,900,000 and change is for the diverting force main, and then there's some improvements that have to be made also. They had said to us that the cost per household is estimated at $14.25, based on an annual debt service of $600,000 and 42,370 units participating in the area. So that would be the cost. Their hope is that the project could be completed in the year 2022. We made a slight edit at the request of council to the resolution, which has been incorporated, to just clarify that This plan is recommended by Delcora, and it's their recommendation. And in accordance with the State Law Act 577, we have the magic language in here where we find that the plan conforms to zoning, subdivision, and municipal ordinances and plans for a comprehensive program of pollution control and water quality management. So that's it. I wondered if anybody has any questions?
Let's move to adopt the resolution.
Okay, so I'll make a motion then to adopt Resolution 2018-07 regarding this. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, further discussion? One quick question, I just don't want to do the math. That per household number that you gave, is that an annual cost, or is that's it? That's the one-time cost?
That'd be an annual cost.
That would be an annual
Yes.
cost. Like I said, I didn't want to do the math in my head.
I'm assuming it's a 30-year debt offering, is that what they're doing? Probably over
That's
30
what
years.
I think that's what they said in the meeting, yeah.
Okay, that's the only question I have.
Yes.
Other questions or discussion?
Oh, and I should
Yes.
mention that
Yeah.
that cost, the $14.25, is actually, they believe that that will be offset in part because we'll be diverting sewage away from the Philadelphia plant. And then the authority then will do its calculation on what our bill is, and it should result in a lowering of the cost. They could not say how much, but that's actually the goal of the whole thing. So they believe there could be an offset of something.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion? If not, all in favor of adopting Resolution 2018-07, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Great.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you. So I just want to mention that at our meeting this month, we had advertised the proposed sewer lateral ordinance, and then we received some comment after it being advertised. One resident, Mr. Young, he called and we spoke for almost an hour on the telephone about a week and a half ago. He had some very, we had a very good discussion. He said he understands the necessity of inspections and the maintenance of these lines. He's not questioning that. He wanted me to express in council or at the committee meeting some of his thoughts, and I agreed to do that, just to say that he had a couple points. He had some questions about who's qualified to do the inspection or the repair, and he was open to various answers on that. He's interested in a Pennsylvania licensed engineer being involved in that. He had some questions about the time of sale aspect of it. The surrounding municipalities are using that in their ordinances. It's a time of sale inspection, and so he said he would just like to put in a word that he would hope that the certificate of occupancy could be temporarily granted with a 90-day window to do the repairs afterwards. So that was the comment that he made. And he felt that he didn't like the idea of using the certificate of occupancy to enforce this. So I just wanted to state that that's something we'll consider in committee as we go forward on this. And anybody has any questions about that? Like I said, we're going to revisit this in committee.
Great. Thank you, Ross.
Hey, can I just throw in there?
Sure.
I was out walking Monday night when the rain was coming down really heavily, because I'm crazy like that. And there was a sinkhole on Cornell Avenue. I called Cuzzy about it Tuesday, and he was out there yesterday morning, put up some blockades around it, had it inspected. It's the homeowner's lateral. It's collapsed in the street. It was really distressing because when I walked by, I mean, all the street water was flooding in there, gallons and gallons of water just flooding into basically our sewer line through the broken lateral. So Cuzzy has informed the homeowner that they need to get it fixed, and he, put a plate over the street so that it's not an open gaping hole. And I just wanted to bring it up both because it's timely to what you're discussing, and also just, to throw some props out to Cuzzy for, just really being right on top of that.
Yes.
So it's really nice to be able to call him and say, hey, I'm concerned about this, and he just takes care of it.
Yeah, he's very responsive.
Yeah.
And his entire crew is very responsive. And the manager and Cuzzy, I've learned in my 2.5 years on the council that really before I started working in Public Works, I wasn't that attuned. But it's, the sewer stuff is the second largest dollar ticket item for the borough. And they're like working on it all the time. We don't hear every time the sewer line needs repair. We don't hear, there's just a heck of a lot that they're working on all the time to keep it going. So I appreciate you saying that, and I join you in expressing thanks to the manager and Cuzzy and his crew because they're on top of it.
Unsung heroes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all I have, David.
Thank you, Russ. Tim?
Thank you, Dave. Not too much from last week, but tomorrow night, which is Thursday, because it's a Wednesday night here, which is kind of odd, is the last of the Thursday Night Live music series for the season. Unfortunately, weather is precluding us from doing the stroll on the street, so that part has been canceled, and the music part of it has been moved indoors to Warehouse 3. So it should be very cozy. It's there, but certainly, like all our events, we hope that everybody comes out. It's also going to be followed by the Truckathon on Friday, which I don't look at the weather after that to see how that's going to be. But that should be interesting. Last time we had, I think, over 3,000 people in town for that. So that's quite an endeavor. And that's basically all I have.
Thank you, Tim. Bob?
Thank you, I don't have anything this evening.
Any other business to be brought before council this evening? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.